So if immigrants are freeloaders, then why has ICE been conducting raids at construction sites?
Yeah, why? Because Trump promised to deport only criminals who are here.
About the immigration stuff happening at job sites all around the state of Florida, here in Tampa, Tallahassee. I've seen it everywhere. I've seen a lot of the videos, and it seems like a lot of people are just yelling and they're mad. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't understand it either. It's not what I voted for. I voted for the criminals to be removed, 100%. But there are a lot of hardworking immigrants in this country that are building this country. Going back to when I started building the Hard Rock, 85% probably immigrants. All hardworking people providing for their families. Talk to them, get to see their kids on their phones, hear them all interact, have great days, loving what they do. I've been to the trade schools here in Tampa. I don't see how we fill these positions. It's going to cause construction to collapse here. It worries me. I'm in a good position right now with the 2 custom homes I have coming up this year, but ultimately the shoes are not going to be filled by these people getting rushed out of here. So I'm not going to copy everybody else on this video here. I've got a solution. The solution, President Trump, is to not deport these gentlemen right away, these hardworking gentlemen and women that have been removed from these job sites. Get them legal status somehow under a work visa. Background check them. Do whatever you need to do to make sure they're not criminals, but let's get them legalized in a rushed form or fashion. That's what needs to happen. That's the right thing to do if you care about America. It's the right thing to do because construction is the biggest industry. I'm sorry, healthcare. But we all know I won't go to health. I don't do that here. Construction is the biggest industry in this country. And you're ripping the people out of it. Robots are not coming soon enough to build this stuff. You can only build so many 3D printed homes, and they need people there to manage those too. So Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, the solution, not the problem. We all know what the problem is. The solution is to not deport them. Get them legalized as soon as possible with the proper background checks. If they have to go, they have to go. But these are hardworking people that are building this country to provide for their families. There's enough craziness going on in this world. We don't need it here as much as it's happening with good people being removed. Dishwashers and stuff in other cities. It's sad. It's sad. It makes me sick. But that's the solution, President Trump. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it, but that's the solution. Do what's right for America. Please, I'm begging you. Honest Hammer is begging you. Do what's right for this country. We need the hard workers here. Hope he sees it.
This guy is an hypocrite. He is not blaming Trump because he is deporting and working immigrants, right? He is blaming Trump because the immigration policies have started affecting his companies, right? He thought it was all good, it was all party, it was all, but now it became a chaos. His company is suffering. That's why he's crying. Not because he cares about anything. It's a wolf in sheep clothing.
Illegal immigrants, the undocumented immigrants of this country, are not just doing the jobs you don't want to do. They're doing the jobs you physically don't have the skills to do. I have the proof because in Florida, when all the mass deportations started and ICE agents were capturing all of these illegal immigrants and undocumented immigrants, putting them into cages at Alligator Alcatraz and places like that, the workforce dropped by 50%. Months later, that workforce has not actually gotten any better. In fact, it's gotten worse. If illegal immigrants were the ones stealing all of the jobs from American citizens, and American citizens would be doing those jobs if it wasn't for all the illegal immigrants that are criminals here in the United States illegally, then the workforce would be jumping back up and we would actually have projects moving forward in Florida. But we don't. Because illegal immigrants, regardless of doing the jobs you don't want to do, illegal immigrants are actually doing the jobs that most Americans don't have the skill to do anymore. Because guess what? Illegal immigrants are doing labor and doing construction work in Florida, but it's still a skill. It still has qualities and it still has a bout of experience that you need by doing this work, and most Americans don't do this work. Illegal immigrants do, because they will literally come here and do the jobs you don't want to do. You want to be upset and claim that they stole your job, but illegal immigrants in this country are here just trying to provide a better way of life for their families. They are human beings. Taking and detaining illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants on stolen land, putting them into cages, making them sit in their own feces for days at a time at Alligator Alcatraz is inhumane. And for all of you that sees this, please comment and repost and share this with as many people as possible. If you think that you have any justifications for locking up people that are just here trying to do a better thing for their families, you're a problem.
With mass deportations of immigrants, minorities, non-documented workers, and unfortunately some documented workers, who could have imagined that hundreds upon hundreds of construction sites all through Florida would become ghost towns? I mean, look at this. By the way, everybody that's actually in construction knew that this is what would happen when ICE decided to start deporting all of the immigrants that are here in Florida. Because, again, this is one of those quiet secrets that everybody knew about, everybody was tolerating for years, but because it became a political agenda based on the tangerine waffle in the Oval Office's flip of a hat, this is what we get. We have hundreds of job sites that are completely and utter ghost towns right now. The housing market is now going to stall. Remember when the housing market in Florida was so empty that we needed to build houses and we needed all of these construction sites going and we needed to be able to house the people that were coming into Florida in mass entrance? Who's working on them now? What do you guys think? Leave a comment and repost, because all I know is they're sitting in detention centers waiting to be deported and stripped and ripped away from their families. All because of a political maneuver, because somebody decided to get rich, the poor stay poor, and unfortunately the people searching for the American dream realize that there's a price tag attached to it. What do you guys think? Leave a comment and repost.
We have a government that is making decisions based on emotions, right? When you deport workers who are doing construction in these our rural homes, in our cities, right? These are hardworking people, right? Make it easy for them to apply for documentation. Then do background checks on them. If they are good, they can stay here. They are hardworking people. They are not criminals. They are not stealing from anyone. They are not killing anyone. They are not bringing drugs to USA. These are hardworking people. These are not criminals, right? If you decide to deport them, at least give them an easy way to seek for documentation. Because don't tell me these people cannot look for documentation. They can, but it's hard. It's hard for them.
Glen Valley Foods in Nebraska is likely going to be shut down unless they can rebuild quickly. See, immigration officials raided the meatpacking plant, and more than 70% of the workforce has either been detained or stopped showing up for work due to the fear of additional immigration raids. Even their HR manager has stopped showing up. Now, you'd say, it's Nebraska. It's a deep red portion of Nebraska. But Gary Rower, who is the owner of the meat processing facility, said he voted for a Democrat for the first time in his life because he could not stand behind Republican treatment of migrants. When 95% of his workforce are migrants, he could not allow what they were pushing to be on his conscience that he voted for it. He tries to do what's right. He verifies all of his employees through E-Verify, and when they don't pass, he helps those migrants on a road to gain the ability to pass E-Verify. And still, his facility was raided. He has more than 50 workers being detained right now by immigration officials, even though they're legally allowed to be here. And why was he raided? A report that he was employing illegal immigrants by the local community and solely upon the color of the skin of the individuals that he chooses to employ, because people who look like me refuse to work there because that job is beneath them. Even when he pays $20 an hour for someone with no experience and upwards of $40 an hour for people with experience. It's not a great paying job to start, but it's an okay paying job in the end.
It's been an extremely busy news morning for immigration, so here's what's happening. So first, this morning in LA, immigration agents posed in a moving truck near MacArthur Park. They lured day laborers in before jumping out and making 16 arrests. Critics are calling this a Trojan horse tactic, which is deceptive, dangerous, and possibly unconstitutional. So second, DHS is opening up a brand new detention facility in Indiana. It's going to be called the Speedway Slammer. It's modeled after Alligator Alcatraz, and human rights watch groups are already sounding the alarm. Third, a new report found over 500 cases in immigration detention. This includes pregnant women and children being denied medical care and even SA. DHS is actively trying to downplay this. Fourth, immigration courts are now reopening old deportation cases. This includes people who have already passed away. Advocates are saying that this is to flood the system and ramp up deportation by any means necessary. And finally, ICE has removed all age limits on new hires, so you can be 18 or you can be 80, it doesn't matter. And they are also pulling FEMA staff to help in the middle of hurricane season. There's a lot going on. I'll keep you guys updated.
Americans are advocating for expansion of these immigrants, hardworking workers. Why are they not taking up their places? Why are they not? We are seeing companies struggle to find workforce. The government is deporting people. And these Americans who are advocating for this, they are not filling up those positions. Why? Why? Because if there is a vacuum, it must be filled. Yeah, the vacuum has been created. You are taking away our workers. Fill them.
Did y'all see that big deportation in Tallahassee on that job site? If I was a Spanish person, I would gather up with a whole bunch of people and everybody stop working on it, and then see how much the end date changes on that job. Let's see how many people from America is going to take the spot and finish the job as fast as they would. I get it, we have illegals, but a lot of them are here to work and better their lives. They just left their wives and all this other stuff and their kids to be deported. Let them people work. That's all.
Well, we have a situation where construction projects are not being finished and they're being extremely delayed. I was actually in Plant City, Florida not too long ago, probably about 3 months ago, two to 3 months ago. And, you know, I also own a roofing company. I'm not just a real estate agent. What problems did you have? And he said, well, so I'm talking about all the ICE raids. And he told me that just a couple days earlier, ICE came out to a whole bunch of residential roofing job sites and ended up arresting 38 illegal immigrants, roofers. You know, the people who are actually doing the work of installing the roof, okay? Now, our install crews are all legit, but that's not the case with every single roofing company, right?
He keeps telling me that these ICE raids are racially motivated. Because you can't tell me someone who has the law he has broken is entering the country. The other law he has broken is nothing else. You grab him or her in a construction site, and then you are taking them to Alcatraz. Criminals are roaming the streets. There are criminals who are roaming the streets, bad criminals than those ones. Drug smugglers, right? Psycho killers. They are roaming in our streets. It's not even safe to walk in the parks. But the government is focused on these hard-working immigrants.
Why aren't they taking gang members? Why is ICE not taking gang members and serious criminals? You have to ask yourself that question. And once you hear yourself say it out loud, come up with an answer. Why do you think ICE is doing all of these raids and they're going to places where people actually work, like restaurant workers, farmers, car wash attendants? Why is ICE going after that? Trump said he was going to get rid of the worst of the worst. He was going to start with the worst of the worst. He has yet to do that at all. There are known gangs and gang members and leaders of gangs, like very well known to the government in this country. And none of them have been taken by ICE. So you want to know what I think? I'll tell you exactly what I think. The reason that they are targeting regular, hard-working, undocumented workers, but a lot of them are documented. They're just grabbing them, but they're not going into the really dangerous neighborhoods. So the reason they're doing it is because they want to damage our economy. That's exactly it. That's really the only reason. And that's what dictatorships do. They want to weaken and damage the economy slowly without you noticing. How do they do that? They arrest farm workers. What happens when they arrest those farm workers and deport them? Who is going to pick all of the vegetables and the fruits? They're going to all of these places that provide unbelievable amounts of labor, number one. Number two, billions of dollars in tax dollars, because a lot of these undocumented, most of them actually, or people who are here on visas and whatnot, they pay billions of dollars into our tax system. So the only reason, the only explanation as to why they're not going after the really bad criminals is because those people won't have an effect on our economy because they don't work legitimately. Boo! You heard me, huh? They don't work legitimately. They provide zero incentive to destroy an economy. How can Trump destroy our economy? Very easily. Get rid of all the skilled and very much needed laborers, the labor force. And that is exactly what he's doing.
This mostly built 84,000 square foot recreation center close to Mobile, Alabama, had been on track for an on-time completion by November 1st. But the construction site's superintendent says he is now looking at a 3-week delay after about half of his workers stayed home for days out of fear of being arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
This particular job here is a huge job for the community. Well, the community's going to miss out if we can't get it finished.
Superintendent Robbie Robertson, who chose to conceal his face, told Reuters that it was a recent ICE raid on a job site in Florida, more than 200 miles away, that spooked his staff.
I know that we have lost a lot of our workers because of their hearing about these raids. We have got some of them back, but we're now about half capacity, which basically hurts our work production.
Immigration raids on building sites, part of an expanding crackdown by President Donald Trump on work sites across the country, are causing major disruptions to the construction industry, according to Reuters interviews. Robertson said his company faces a $4,000 penalty for every day it runs past its November 1st deadline, already a potential cost of $84,000.
And those raids happen a good bit away from here. There's a lot of closer jobs than this one, so I know they're all being affected as well.
About 1.4 million of the roughly 11 million people in the U.S. illegally work in construction, more than any other industry. That's according to the Migration Policy Institute, a nonpartisan think tank. And construction industry leaders say those workers are hard to replace with native-born Americans because most don't have the skills.
They're willing to do it. The Hispanic descent, they basically are stepping up and will do some of the hard work. But I am a Trump supporter, like I said, and I do think there is a way to go about doing this, but I just don't think the raids is the answer.
A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security said ICE raids have helped combat dangerous activities such as labor trafficking and exploitation. Robertson said his company and its subcontractors already verify that workers are in the country legally through the government's E-Verify program, a widely used online system which checks employment eligibility. Meanwhile, the deportation push is beginning to affect public opinion. Trump's approval rating on immigration fell to 41% in a Reuters Ipsos poll this month, the lowest since his return to the White House.
Trump is on a suicide mission. He is a pilot who wants to kill himself. And the only way you want to do that is by bringing down the plane full of passengers, which is us. Now, to stop this suicide mission from happening, Let's prevent him from boarding the plane in the coming midterm elections. Because if he's given time, there will be no going back. There will be no going back again. He wants to destroy this country because he knows that it is not running again. He got nothing to lose. So before more damage is done, let's mobilize for the midterm elections. Let's vote in Democrats in, and let's impeach this orange tangerine out of the White House. It's the only solution, nothing else. Because real estate is collapsing. Our farms are collapsing. Grocery prices are high. Tariffs are high. The crime rates in our cities is skyrocketing. But what is this guy focused on? Hardworking immigrants.